Yo, join the community, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you are new to this channel. And thumbs this video up if you happen to enjoy the video. So, according to Mr. Dillian Whyte, he's actually accused Wladimir Klitschko of lying about the fact that he's coming back. Because, obviously, a couple days ago I reported, or maybe just a few days ago, I reported that Wladimir Klitschko came out and said that it was fake news, right? He was not going to come back and face Dillian Whyte because people were saying that he was going to come back and face Dillian Whyte. And so Wladimir Klitschko came out when they asked him about that, and he said no, he's not coming back, and he's not coming back definitely to face somebody like Dillian Whyte. But Dillian Whyte came back at that. He replied to that by saying that no, the one who's lying is Wladimir Klitschko, because according to Dillian Whyte, Dillian Whyte says that they offered the fight to Mr. Wladimir Klitschko for Dillian Whyte, but Wladimir Klitschko said no, he needs 2 warm-up fights, and then he'll fight Dillian Whyte. That's what Dillian Whyte said. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just repeating what he's saying. All right, I'm being the messenger here, people. I'm reporting the news. All right, that's what Dillian Whyte says. Okay, he says that Wladimir Klitschko said no, he needed 2 warm-up fights first. So he's going to come back, have 2 warm-up fights in like Germany or something, and then he'll fight somebody like Dillian Whyte. And Dillian Whyte says that he took that as a compliment because that shows you how much, I guess, Wladimir Klitschko respects Dillian Whyte as a threat, that he doesn't feel comfortable just fighting him coming off a 2-year layoff. He feels that he needs to have a few warm-up fights to get himself prepared for someone like Dillian Whyte. And funny enough, though, again, this is what Dillian Whyte says, but funny enough, though, I also heard some rumors that they were talking about that DAZN was talking about that DAZN had a meeting with Wladimir Klitschko, and they were discussing to have like a 3-fight deal with him. I heard this little rumor, and I saw some reports on it, that Wladimir Klitschko had a meeting with DAZN. No, Ring Magazine, yes. I read an article in Ring Magazine saying that Ring Magazine said that Wladimir Klitschko had a sit down with DAZN to discuss a 3-fight comeback deal. I guess where he'll fight 3 times, and he was going to have 1 warm-up fight in Germany, and then he was going to come back and fight against both Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury to try and avenge those 2 losses. So that's what Ring Magazine was saying. Ring Magazine was saying he was going to have 3 fights, 1 against an opponent in Germany, a tune-up fight, and then he was trying to avenge his both losses against obviously Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. They didn't mention Dillian Whyte at all. But then you got Dillian Whyte going around saying a whole different story, saying that he's also coming back for to have 3 fights, but it's going to be against 2 tune-up fights against 2 guys in Germany, and then the guy he's going to fight, like the big fight, will be him against himself, Dillian Whyte, not Joshua or Tyson Fury. So I'm starting to think maybe there's some validity to this. Maybe this is true. Maybe Dillian Whyte is, being honest here when he says that Mr. Wladimir Klitschko is coming back, because you got like Ring Magazine saying that he's talked with DAZN. You got Dillian Whyte saying that they offered him a fight, and he was saying no, he needed 2 warm-up fights. So maybe this is true. Maybe Wladimir Klitschko is coming back. You guys know my opinion about this. I respect Wladimir Klitschko as a champion. Was he the most entertaining fighter? No. But he did what he did, right? He was very dominant for several years, right? For several years, nobody could beat him. And it came to a point that I got sick and tired of the Wladimir Klitschko range, right? I told you guys, when Tyson Fury fought Wladimir Klitschko, I was rooting for Tyson Fury. I said, please, Tyson Fury, beat him. Because I grew up during the Wladimir Klitschko reign. I saw his entire second title run when he was very dominant. That was him at his most dominant, right, during his second. Not his first title reign. His second title run when he defended his belts, 20, 18 plus times. I lived through all that, right? So I was sick and tired of the Wladimir Klitschko era. So when Tyson Fury beat him, I was so happy. It wasn't the most entertaining fight. It was quite dull, right? But I was very happy because I was like, finally, the heavyweight division is freed. And then when he came and he fought against Anthony Joshua, that was a great attempt to defeat a young heavyweight champion, right? I thought he looked really good in that fight. He was giving Anthony Joshua all he could handle. He knocked him down, the first man to ever knock Anthony Joshua down as a professional fighter. He busted up Anthony Joshua's face. It was a very great fight, a very great attempt. He showed a lot of determination. He showed a lot of heart, something that he really hadn't shown throughout his career, but at least not to that nature, right? He showed a lot of passion basically against Anthony Joshua. But when he lost, I was like, all right, that's a great way. And then he announced his retirement after that fight. And I remember thinking, that's a great way to retire as a fighter, as a former champion. You're a former champion who defended his belt, a former long-range champion who was defending his belt for several years. You lost against two of the best current heavyweights, two of the best current British heavyweights, right? You lost against Tyson Fury, and then you lost against Anthony Joshua in a very competitive fight. And I thought that was a great way to retire for Wladimir Klitschko, because imagine if Anthony Joshua went on to go on a 10-year unbeaten streak where he just keeps defending his unified belt, he becomes undisputed, and nobody beats him for 10 years. You see how, and let's say Anthony Joshua doesn't struggle with anyone the way he struggled against Wladimir Klitschko. You see how that would make Wladimir Klitschko look really good as a fighter, because people will look back at that and say, wow, Wladimir Klitschko was the only guy to be able to drop Anthony Joshua and give Anthony Joshua such a competitive fight. And Wladimir Klitschko was, in his 40s doing this. Yeah, all these other fighters that Anthony Joshua went on to unify with, like Deontay Wilder, like, Jerome Miller, Dillian Whyte, none of these guys could give Anthony Joshua a tough fight. So it would make Wladimir Klitschko look even better, right? It's kind of like when Lennox Lewis fought Vitaly Klitschko. Lennox Lewis gave Vitaly Klitschko the toughest fight of his entire boxing career, right? He busted him up. He almost decapitated him with that, iconic uppercut that he threw against him when they were like leaning up against each other. And what makes it amazing is Lennox Lewis was at the end of his career, right? He was almost 40 years old during that time. And Vitaly Klitschko was in his prime, right? I think he was like barely 30. He was in his prime. And after that tough fight that Lennox Lewis gave Vitaly Klitschko went on to dominate every single opponent he stepped in the ring against for literally the next decade, right? He went on basically, first of all, he didn't lose. He didn't lose a single fight in the next decade. And he dominated basically every guy he fought. No one could do what Lennox Lewis did. And mind you, all these guys were much younger than Lennox Lewis, the guys who were challenging Vitaly Klitschko, right? But none of these young fighters, none of these young heavyweights could do what a, older version of Lennox Lewis did to Vitaly Klitschko. So that makes both Lennox Lewis look good and Vitaly Klitschko look good, because it makes Lennox Lewis look good because it shows you just how good Lennox Lewis was, that even at the end of his career, he was still able to give a talent like Vitaly Klitschko such hell. And it also shows you how good Vitaly Klitschko is, because Vitaly Klitschko went on to dominate for such a long period of time. So that's how I felt with Wladimir Klitschko. I know I'm going on a bit of a long rant here. Well, not a rant, but a long video, but I'm just speaking my mind, people. That's how I feel when it comes to Wladimir Klitschko. I felt like he should have just stayed retired. It would have been great to just retire and not come back during that, with that very good effort he gave against Anthony Joshua. But he's coming back, maybe, if this is true what Dillian Whyte and Ring Magazine are saying. Because it might just be a rumor too, but maybe it might be fact too, So if he comes back, I just feel like he might end up damaging his legacy. Like, imagine he comes back and he loses to someone he's not supposed to lose to because he's just up there in age now. Or because I feel like he would beat a Dillian Whyte if he was in his prime. Wladimir Klitschko. I think the version of Wladimir Klitschko who fought Anthony Joshua would have beaten someone like Dillian Whyte. So imagine like he keeps fighting and he loses to someone he's not supposed to fight, or he gets knocked out against Dillian Whyte. I just think these things will kind of damage his resume or his legacy. So like I said, I personally think he should retire and just stay retired. But If he comes back, because again, you never know with Klitschko. You know, he might be the same version who fought Anthony Joshua, or he might not. He might be a shadow. Remember, it's been 2 years, and now he's in his 40s. So these things affect the fighter. So see what happens. See if this is true. Maybe Dillian Whyte's is telling the truth. Maybe he's not. Maybe Wladimir Klitschko stays retired. Anyway, guys, what do you guys think? Do you guys think this is a good idea for Wladimir Klitschko to come back? Let me know in the comment section of this video, and thumbs up the video up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.